Oh, Mr. Carver, you should not call a good man that.
But it's Serbia. I got it from my father this afternoon.
Hello, welcome to Film Reviews with two Z's at the end. Today we are going to review the 1942 film Cat People. Now, let me just start by saying the title of this movie is kind of ridiculous. Cat People. What could this be about? It is actually about cat people, though, or a cat person, to be more specific. When I first saw this movie, I had no idea what to expect. I thought it was a scary movie, but with the title Cat People, it can't be that scary, can it? And I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. The story is kind of cheesy. So it begins with this woman who is drawing a cat at a zoo, and she meets a man, and they fall in love. And what happens is she falls in love, but she cannot be that romantic with the guy because she believes if she kisses him, she will turn into a cat. And yeah. So this movie, I think, does a hilarious job at having a dramatic feel to scenes that are really cheesy. I would have loved to go back in time when this movie was made back in 1942 and just watch it and see how the audience reacted to some of the lines that these characters say. I was laughing a lot when I first saw this movie because it's funny. I mean, there are funny moments in the movie, but there's also moments that aren't supposed to be funny, but they just are because the way the lines are delivered by the actors. There's a scene when the cat lady is getting married to this guy, and they're at like this wedding party, and this woman walks by, and she says something to the lady getting married, and she's very startled by what she says, and her husband asks, "What did she say?" And she said, she said sister. And the reason that's troubling is because she looks like a cat. The lady who said that looks like a real cat. I think that's hilarious. But in this movie world, it's something very dangerous and very scary. The camera work in the film, it was very well done. It's shot in black and white. There's actually not a lot of locations that take place. But what they did is they used a lot of the same locations, and it looks great. I mean, it looks fantastic. It's very spooky. There's a zoo that this woman goes to a lot of the time, and it's really cool. There's also this film is actually kind of, I guess, in the movie history, it's kind of famous for this one scene. It's an editing technique they did where a character's walking down a sidewalk at night, and she hears these jaguar cat sounds, and she's frightened, and then a bus comes by and turn on and has like air brakes, and the sound of like the cat is actually like a cross-cut edit with the sound of the bus. So when you're watching this, you're thinking, oh, there's going to be a cat that jumps out, but it actually is a bus that just stops by. And it was, I guess at the time, very unique, and They've never did that before in movies, I don't think, or maybe this movie just made it famous. I thought it was great. I think it still holds up as like a scary moment. The things that this movie does very well is it doesn't really show you the cat person until the very end of the movie. So there's a lot of sounds that is being heard. There's shadows, just little indications and clues that someone is a cat person. So pretty much the story of this whole movie is the main character, who is from Serbia. She is trying to figure out whether or not she's really a cat person or not, or she believes she is actually, and then all of the people around her don't believe her. They think she's kind of going crazy, or she's just mentally damaged or something. But it's not until the end of the movie they find out actually she was telling the truth. She is cursed to be a cat person, and that's just her life. I was very surprised by this film when I first saw it. I like the balance it has between being dramatic, being scary, and also having a sense of humor. It's a fun movie to watch. It even at the time, it's produced by RKO Pictures, and at the time that studio wasn't doing very well financially, and this movie was such a hit when it came out in theaters that it actually helped the studio make some money. And I believe they actually made a sequel to this film, which I've seen, which is pretty good too. It's a great movie. It's on DVD. It's on the Criterion Collection, but I'm sure you can find it online as well somewhere else. So definitely check it out if you can. My final score for this film, it's a hard one to score because it's very, I don't think it would be that great if it was made today. It's a movie that almost had to have been made in the 40s, just the way everything blends and fits together. I think it still holds up as a fun story. I'm going to give this an 8.4 out of 10. It's a good movie. It's definitely something I will regard as one of my favorite films. Very fun to watch. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to this channel, podcast/audio review. And thank you again for listening.